What's up, good humans? Welcome to the DOD45. Today's guest is Myles Bullen. That's right. My man, Myles.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
DOD45.
This is the DOD45 podcast, drawing over discussions, 45 minutes with a special guest. Welcome. I'm your host and resident artist, Tai of Art by Tai, and with my co-host, Adrienne Tai, we're having conversations with people who I admire and am inspired by. On this episode, I'll set a 45-minute timer, put my pen to the paper, and we'll learn about our guest through an interview-style discussion. So stay right here with us to experience some laughs and maybe even learn a thing or two.
DOD45.
Recording in progress. Here we are. Good morning, good afternoon. We rarely do a morning or afternoon one. Good morning to you, Adrienne. Is it still morning for us?
Yeah.
I guess it is still morning for us. I'm wearing my, do you know what that is? Do you know what that shirt is?
It's like a alligator hunter.
It's a Chesky jet ski.
Oh, I thought it was a boat with a guy pulling an alligator into it.
It's a Chesky jet ski. Here we are. Good morning. I said that already. Kind of feeling like a real job here, huh? Back to back. It's like I haven't had a scheduled job in a long time.
Except for the gallery.
Oh, that's true. I try to rebel against it when you're like, you got to open the gallery. I'm like, I don't have to open the gallery if I don't want to. But yeah, we do have a scheduled time for the gallery now. Shit, that bums me out.
I know it does. After we spent all that time, all that money to get it.
Yeah, but
and then you're like, I don't want to open the gallery. I'm going to go to the bar. And just like, wait.
Well, yeah, because
you wanted this gallery for so many years.
Yeah, but not for just walk-ins. Not in this area. If people wanted to come into the gallery, they could reach out and get a hold of me, and I'd come up and open the gallery for them. How'd you sleep last night?
I think fine.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't wake up with that song in my head, so that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah, that's funny you mentioned songs in the head. I had Myles' song, I Am Not For Everyone, stuck in my head.
Well, that's because you listen to it 15 times every day.
Kid, I started planting flowers inside of carcasses, but to channel light you need to go where darkness lives. I am not for everyone.
I know, but that's not why I was up. So last night there was I slept like shit. First of all, I finally got into bed, and then there was like a loud crash. I don't even know what the hell it was.
It sounded like something fell downstairs.
It sounded like someone broke into the house or something. So we both jumped up and went and searched the house for 15 minutes and outside. But then at that happened at midnight. And then I kind of was able to fall back asleep, and at 1 a.m. I heard this terrifying scream. And I thought, we have a guest staying in our Airbnb, and I thought someone had broken, just, and the weird thoughts you're having in your sleep. I thought someone broke into the house, into the Airbnb, and was attacking her. Yeah, but then so I came outside and looked, and just our neighbor they were having some drinks on the porch, but it's not like it was a loud scream. They probably just were laughing or something. But in my kind of little bit of sleep,
that'll probably come back on the reviews for the Airbnb. Loud neighbors party all night long.
No, it wasn't all night long. I mean, that was almost just barely 1 o'clock.
That's all night to me.
Okay. All right. And
did you ever listen to that Buck 65?
No, you never sent it to me. I thought you were sending it to me.
I don't need to send it to you.
Okay. I haven't had time. I really haven't. It's been nonstop.
I ran to it yesterday. It was really good. And then his other He has this other song that either him or somebody else did a remix of it, kind of in that rave style. I run to kind of rave music. What do you call that? EDM or?
I think you need to get closer to that mic, but
Oops.
yeah.
That rave music. Is that
There
better?
we go.
Sorry.
Hell yeah. It's like a two like you were outside in the... But yeah, okay, yeah.
Anyway, they did the Way Back When song. Way Back When. You know that song?
I don't think I do. Sorry.
That song on the radio is nice. Way Back When, solid gold.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, there's like
you mean Buck 65 song?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
like a rave version of that out there, which is really cool.
Did he do it or someone else did it?
I don't know, but it's really good on me.
No, I haven't
Running
listened
playlist.
to anything other than DJ Criminal, Jesse the Tree, and Myles Bullen because it just helps me figure out what we're going to talk about.
But that's been 3 weeks now.
Yeah, no, I'll listen to that today when I'm trying to finish the bathroom, our kids' bathroom, so they have their own bathroom. I've been promising them I'd get them that done for like the last 2 years, but yeah, I'm gonna go get that. I'm gonna tile the floor today. Well, I'm gonna lay it doesn't matter. That's not interesting. So, yep.
Did you see that there was a 31,000-year-old amputee?
Oh,
They found.
Oh, I did see that, like a fossil or like,
A
you know,
skeleton,
yeah.
yeah. And that they think that this person lived for like several years post amputee.
Which
That's
would
crazy.
yeah, which
we
would have
didn't
been
even have steel.
yeah.
That's 31,000 years ago. That's a long,
How
long
do they?
time.
How is it? I guess the scientists know that it wasn't like the person wasn't born
Because
with
they
it
would
because
have
they would have
seen
saw like the chop or something or the.
and then the healing.
Oh, but was the skin heal or does the
Well, it
bone
wasn't
heal?
the bone.
That's what I'm saying. How do they? Well, they're
bone.
smart, I guess.
And then I also saw, I didn't read this one, but in Poland, they found the headline said vampire skeleton. Which
I think I heard that one.
Which is probably nothing more than it like had a stake in its heart or had like extra long teeth or something.
I think it had the vampire teeth.
Just like long canines.
I think I didn't read the story. I just saw the headline.
I didn't either, so I thought that was interesting, but I didn't click on it.
I got a little bit of a headache.
Yeah, you seem a little grumpy.
I told you I had a shitty night of sleep.
Oh.
I went and searched the house, and the front door was open, so it was like
Open
extra.
or
Well, it was
unlocked?
unlocked, but we always lock that door.
Yeah, well, you guys went longboarding last night, and you didn't. I went in the back gate to lock it.
Yeah,
And you guys went in the front door, so I figured you would have locked it.
yeah. I guess maybe we just didn't.
That was fun, though.
Yeah, we and my daughter and went on the longboards last night and down by the Mississippi while Adrienne walked. And I'm sure people are wondering why we have a longboard for Adrienne. Why don't you ride that?
I don't feel like dying anytime soon.
No, I don't want you to die either. So, all right. Well, hey, if you're doing the watching version, the visual version of the show, that's right here behind me. That's Myles' most recent album. That's the vinyl right there. That's hanging up there, right behind me there, and behind Adrienne. And that album is called Mourning Travels. And I was just gonna say, I wanted to say this about Myles, and then I think he'll probably be in pretty soon, right? I discovered Myles through Chesky, and so I really enjoy their cadence and their lyrical positioning, and though they're often rapping about sad stuff, it's music that makes me feel good inside. I don't know if that's the intellect behind the words or the obvious authenticity or just the vocal patterns, but nonetheless, I feel really good about it when I listen to it. So, and a lot of times, most of the stuff I listen to, I don't Wow, what am I trying to say there? That doesn't matter. But I was hooked, so I was looking forward to having Myles on the show. I wanted to talk about inspirations for. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it when we get there. So shall we?
Take a break.
Sounds good. All right. Well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with Myles Bullen.
DOD45. Hot sauce.
Amplify the flavor of your favorite foods with Hob Sauce's award-winning flavors. Create your own 4-pack at hobsauces.com. Not only do they make dope hot sauce, they collaborate with dope artists for their labels and flavors, including myself, Atmosphere, Aesop Rock, Crayola, Rob Sonic, and so many more. We love Hob Sauce over here at DOD45 and damn near put it on everything we eat. We got extra bottles in the car, Adrienne has one in her purse, I have an emergency bottle in my backpack, and if you're ever running out, we always have a bottle available of the garlic turmeric, which I did the octopus label for, here at my gallery in Hannibal, Missouri. Hit it, Bobby.
Have sauce, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Put it on your food.
Hot sauce.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world. My name is Tony, and I have a podcast, too. I know what you're saying. I already know. Okay, but I have a podcast, too. Just like you, just like your grandma, just like your grandma's neighbor. We all have podcasts, except mine is different. I'm different. I was born different. The Speaker Face podcast is fun. It will teach you probably nothing. You cannot smell it, and you definitely can taste it. Speaker Face podcast by me, AWOL1, and I talk to my friends, I talk to musicians, artists, all kinds of creative people, all kinds of human beings. I do like little songs and little freestyles and skits. And so after you're done listening to DOD45 with my man Tai, which is a very, 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 very interesting podcast that you should religiously watch and listen to. After you're done, check out speakerface.store for the Speakerface podcast. And you could also listen to it wherever other podcasts are podcasting. You know what I'm saying? So check it out, Speakerface podcast. Your life will be better. I don't promise. Speakerface podcast.
Here's a little story that must be told. Hey, we are stoked to be starting a relationship with Brim of the World and look forward to building on our partnership with them in the future. Listen, I almost never go without a hat, so hooking up with Brim of the World was a no-brainer. As far as your situation goes, you know your head is looking pretty chump these days, and it's time to throw some headgear on there. And I'm not talking braces headgear, I'm talking about hats. And Bot World, aka Brim of the World, has a treasure trove of headwear to pick from, so check them out at brimoftheworld.com. And also check out their SCD collection. SCD is Seek, Conquer, Destroy, and it's their action sports brand. Seek wisdom to conquer all obstacles and destroy anything that tries to stand in your way for success. Also check out their Aliens Built Earth clothing line. Super dope clothing line. I rock their hoodies and shirts all the damn time. Aliens Built Earth was born with the notion and belief that aliens built Earth. You'll find some type of clothing or headwear from these cats on me at almost all times, and that was before DOD45 partnered with them. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Head over to brimoftheworld.com and start building your wardrobe now. And I just noticed they're offering free shipping in the US, so I mean, really, can you beat that? No, you cannot. Hey, it's me, Ty, just popping on real quick to let you know that my art is available for purchase at artbyty.com. So if you like what you're seeing or you want to support this podcast, the best way for you to do that is by picking up a print or an original on my website. If you're not quite ready for a purchase, but you still want to help out, go ahead and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you stream from. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll never miss an episode. All right, enough of all that. Now let's get back to the show. DOD45. Hey, I know you. I know you from somewhere. You look so familiar. But then I was gonna I was gonna take that into, you look like one of those rap guys' girlfriends or something. You know what that's from?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yeah.
Swass.
Yeah. What did you just say, Adrienne? Swass?
Wasn't that the album? Swass?
Oh, I don't know. I can't go that deep.
Wait, he had more than one album?
I don't know.
So, yeah, I think there were two, but I don't know.
I think the bigger question is, he had more than one song? No. I shouldn't talk shit. Whatever. Well, thanks for joining us. It's nice to have you on the show.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Thank you.
I've been a fan for years.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
I'm also a fan of yours. And I was just talking about why I was a fan of yours. I'll spare you the details of that. You can hear it when on the playback. But then shit, I forgot where I was going with that.
What are you drinking? Iced coffee?
Yeah.
So again, I just thanked you for being on the show. It's pretty awesome to have you here. We had a discussion with Jesse last week. And we had some good discussion with him. He was saying you're like one of his best friends, which is cool. Yeah, it was a fun conversation. I laughed a lot. All right, so I wanted to start off the show by telling you that your track "I Am Not For Everyone" it's so fantastic, and it's probably a bummer for my wife because I play it so often.
Yeah, last night you were playing it for our daughter. She's like, I know, this plays like 5 times a day in the gallery. I know this song.
It's just a really good song, and you write really well, and I appreciate that. You tell a really good story with what you have to say, and I like it.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Your most recent, I guess, album is the Mourning Travels. Is that's correct, right?
Yeah.
When that just came out though?
February it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like this weird passage of time. Was that something that you recorded during the pandemic, post-pandemic, pre-pandemic?
Well, so Mourning Travels is actually a part 2.
Oh, okay.
So part 1 is Healing Hurts.
Okay. And
Healing Hurts was originally going to be like a 40-song opus because it started in the beginning of the pandemic, so March 2020, but I'd been writing a lot before that to kind of shape an album together. And then when the pandemic hit and I lost a lot of really close people to me, I started writing Healing Hurts. And then I just had like 40 songs just like floating around. And then I condensed it to just 7. And then I put out Healing Hurts in December of 2020. So almost 2021.
Now I can't get what was said out of my head. My head is heavy lead, writing a letter to the dead. But that's all. A simple thought of you could bring me to tears. Death is the disaster, a storm that never clears. A nostalgic collage in my brain, a mirage, and you're gone insane. Moments turn to stone, photographs locked in frames. Can't imagine your face ever getting older.
And then I had all these other songs. So then I just kept kind of shaping the next part to that, which was Mourning Travels.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you find that difficult to take? Like, were they 40 songs that I'm using all 40 of these, no matter.
No, it was just
okay.
like I was just writing a ton. I was writing poems and instrumentals and all types of stuff just to do it. You know, I wasn't actually planning on releasing any of it honestly. I felt really uncomfortable about Healing Hurts.
Sure.
And some of the stuff on Mourning Travels, I didn't feel like it would be necessary or like people would want to hear it. Because it was pretty sad. You know? I was very depressed. So I thought that like, oh, I don't need to share more of this with the world. And but then I kind of like took a break from it and went and I revisited, you know, the material, and I actually sent some stuff to Chesky, and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think this would be good for Fake 4? And he really loved it, but he was like, no, we can't do anything probably for another year though, because they had
because this was during the
Yeah, this is like the end of 2020, so like December 2020. I actually pitched that record, you know, to Fake 4, and they were like, yeah, we really love it, but we wouldn't be able to put out it for like another year because of all the other stuff they had going on. So he was just like, you should just do it yourself. And I did. And it was really successful. A lot of people resonated with it. And it was like my best album I ever released ever, like as far as engagement and reach. So that gave me a little more confidence that putting out more of those songs would be useful to the world.
Well, I was just in the intro, I was telling Adrienne that while it seems like a lot of the topics that you speak of are sad, the songs themselves and just hearing someone go through them, it makes me happy. And not in like not in like a morbid way, like, oh, someone's suffering, but there's a great deal of therapy or some sort of healing that you hear someone else's trials and tribulations are nice to hear, I think. Oh, so
thanks.
Good on you. I'm going to just set the timer and start drawing, because what I tend to do is I ramble on and then I forget that I'm supposed to be drawing as well. It is called DOD45, but I kind of set it at 50. I have an idea for a drawing for you. You had mentioned that you really like Adventure Time.
Yeah.
So this is going to be heavy in the Adventure Time, what I'm drawing here. So hopefully you'll like it. But while I get started in drawing, I'll start you off with one of my Sophie's Choice questions for you. Miles Davis or Miles Teller?
Oh, Miles Davis.
Yeah. I don't even really know this Miles Teller person. Do you?
Nope.
He's in the movie Whiplash. Did you ever see that movie Whiplash? He's the drummer. I mean, he's the main character in that.
Oh, okay.
What about Beyonce or Bukowski?
Beyonce.
Hey, yeah. Awesome. Are you a Bukowski fan at all?
I don't really know much of his stuff. Like, right. I've read things, but I couldn't tell you like a piece that I love.
Is there a lyric that you said Bukowski in or something? Sometimes I'll do that if I just hear a lyric and I'm write down a name and I'm like, oh, I should say Bukowski.
No, I've actually never referenced Bukowski.
Huh. Yeah. I don't know why I even thought that.
Yeah, I appreciate like parts of like his persona and like how he's got a voice in writing, and I think that's really hard to have like a pronounced voice. But I'm not familiar with much of his stuff.
I think
he's a hell of a misogynist too.
Wasn't he like always bragging about having sex with his mom or something?
No. But it's a lot of pretty brutal, misogynistic kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot of his work either, but I have read some stuff, and it's interesting is I think a good word for it.
Honestly, you couldn't put many people next to Beyonce and me choose someone else anyways.
You like Beyonce?
Yeah, that's awesome. What about Edgar Allan Poe or David Allen Greer?
Oh, Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, awesome. Do you? I think I did the David Allen Greer because I was curious if you're a fan of like comedy and stand-up comedy and stuff.
Yeah, I like stand-up comedy.
Is it ever something that you would be interested in trying yourself?
Stand-up comedy is like, I think, the most terrifying performance art there is.
I agree.
I think the expectation is ridiculously high to make someone laugh. If someone goes into a room and they expect to laugh, I think that is just like a ridiculously high bar that no, I don't have those sort of ambitions in life.
What do you feel a less pressure? Like, what do you feel that people, when they go to a live show though and watch you perform, is there an expectation of something? Do you ever feel that when you're performing?
Yeah, I feel expectations, but I don't let them like dictate my focus.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A lot of it depends too. It's like sometimes I do shows and it depends on the people there, where it is. If there are people there that like came to see me, that's like a different feeling than playing for a room full of strangers, like
right,
who aren't familiar with me. Like there's less of a surprise. There's less of a like, what's going to happen next feeling.
When you turn up to a show, what do you suppose people are expecting? Like, will they be expecting like you to rap, or like if they don't know who you are?
Oh yeah, like a blind perspective, like just like coming in off the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely don't expect me to like start standing on tables and screaming.
Right.
Something I do. They definitely don't expect the like freestyles or like improv where I engage with the audience and ask them questions about their life and then I make a song up about it. People don't expect that. So there are little things like that just like I think for me are exciting, and they keep me present, and they keep me like in the moment, where it's like I could fuck up any second, so I have to be ultra present.
And when you say fuck up, are you talking about specific lyric or even just stumbling, or because would anybody really notice?
Well, yeah, I mean that's I guess that's a part of the magic,
right?
It's like you can't tell sometimes.
I imagine the people that you're performing with are the same type of creatives, not so different than yourself, that whoever else is in the audience wouldn't not be expecting something highly creative.
But I've seen
from the other people who are performing, what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. You don't mean right at the like on stage together though. You just mean if it was a show with other performers
in the lineup.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think another thing that works for me is I don't typically confine myself to like one, pure genre. So like I don't do just like rap shows or just acoustic folk shows. Like I kind of play all the different, like I like mixed bills. So a lot of the shows I'll be playing, there'll be like a punk act, and then there'll be a rapper and the spoken word poet, and then like an indie rock band, all in the same bill.
Right.
So it's like I kind of thrive in variety places like that. And those are the places I feel most comfortable, and that like I feel like I'm gonna have the best experience is like when I'm also inspired by like the other artists or acts that I'm playing with.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm curious. I wanted to ask you this: if you're performing a show though, and if it's when you're looking out into the crowd and you're playing a show, are you ever looking, or are you just all up in here? Well, I guess what I'm getting to is, can something distract you out in the crowd? Like if someone is like tossing a ball and or I don't know, just something.
Wow. That's a great question. I actually studied this very closely. I used to do street performing like every day. So when I turned 21 years old, I decided to hitchhike around the country and live out of my backpack for about 3 or 4 years, between hitchhiking and taking buses, just travel, just nonstop travel. And I would street perform, and I would just play outside. And I had a cajon, which is like a drum box that I sit on.
Yeah.
And I would play rhythm. I'd just play beats, and I would freestyle about people walking by me. and just freestyle out in the air.
Right.
And so I've been practicing that way before anybody ever paid attention to me. I was practicing engaging people who were not paying attention to me.
Right. Yeah.
Probably actively trying to not pay attention.
Yeah,
as
true.
well.
Yeah, and it's wild because it taught me so much that I'm very grateful for now that I'm like doing, 100 to 150 shows a year.
Yeah.
I'm performing a lot, and now I'm doing shows where people are coming to see me. Like now I actually have the privilege and the gift that like people care enough about me to like book me shows.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
all
a good
over
feeling.
all over the world. So I feel really grateful for that, and I feel like because of not being wanted for so long, or not being like, just playing no matter what, and learning how to channel something and how to be so in the moment with myself that if I'm listening to myself and if I'm feeling authentic and good about what I'm doing, then then goal is reached.
Right.
Like I've already accomplished my goal, which is the like doing the thing. And how people respond to it or engage to it, that's all extra, that's all extra credit, that's all afterwards. But me being present and connecting to the thing that I'm doing is the most important thing. So when that's the focus, the distractions aren't as strong. Like I can kind of tune out any sort of distractions and just be rooted and grounded in the performance.
Well, and that authenticity coming from you is also infectious as far as like being an audience, like someone who's in the crowd, like that comes off, like you can see it, and it forces you to be like, oh, I fucking want to pay attention to what I'm seeing. It's just cool. Those are super formative years for you, I guess. Yeah. Formative? Is that a word? Yeah, I guess.
Formative. So. Yeah.
Do you have fond memories of that time? Like really fond memories, or was it a hell of a struggle and was it hard?
I've done way more difficult things in life than hitchhiking and playing music.
Right.
I'd say working at Staples was more difficult.
Yeah,
I would say working at Olive Garden,
Did you work at Olive Garden?
Being a dishwasher is more difficult than hitchhiking and playing music. Yeah, I worked at all these places. Yeah. So before I was a full-time artist, I worked like 17 jobs, like a month. I was just like constantly doing odd jobs, carpentry, masonry, gardening, painting, dishes, social work, everything. I was like dabbling. I was teaching. I would just do a little bit of absolutely everything I could to make money. And honestly, like working in a kitchen was way harder for me. It was way more debilitating and depressing and like heavy, and I was always exhausted. And so I could never really be creative. So yeah, like living with less and having very little things, like living out of a backpack, for instance. If you've never lived out of a backpack, I can't really explain what it's like to live out of a backpack, because it is so in a lot of ways it's like the closest to like freedom you'll ever feel, because you don't own anything, you don't have any stuff, you have no possessions really. You have
less to worry about, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Very low standards of living, like very low needs. You don't really need much. You need to eat and sleep and move. And that's kind of like what I did for a while. And I think, now I have like way more attachments, and I have more things, and I have bills, and I have all these other things. But I'm able to manage them, I think, easier than a lot of people I know.
Because of what you've been, because you've been on the other side of that. Not on the other side, but yeah, you've experienced it.
How did you decide what made you decide to stop? When did you know it was time to not travel anymore?
Yeah, well, I was feeling really, I got to just a burnout period where I was just like tired. I was like, okay, I've been doing this for a while. I've been zigzagging back and forth throughout the country from Maine to California to, just going on my gut. And then I really wanted to get into yoga. I wanted to start teaching yoga. So I looked up a yoga teacher training in Portland, Maine, which is where I was originally from, or where I was living before I started extensive traveling. And I was just looking around. I found a thing, and I was like, "Oh, this looks good." And then I just randomly made a message on Facebook, like a status, and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking to maybe move to Portland. Does anybody have a room opening up?" And then a friend of mine reached out and was like, "Hey, we just have a room open up in our house." So then I just made that connection. I just made that decision. That gut instinct was like, okay, I need to go and do this 8-month long yoga teacher training process, get myself grounded, live in one place for a year or so, and see what happens. So yeah, it kind of wasn't, I didn't really know what was going to happen. I just did it. I just took the chance. I spent every single dollar I had literally to buy the plane ticket to get to Maine and then to pay my first month's rent. And then I was broke. So I spent every single dollar I had on just making it.
You were so done that you were willing to fly.
Yeah, that I flew home with zero money and just 1 month's rent or 2 months rent. And then I was like, okay, I'll just find a job. I was just winging it. I was like, oh, I can do this. And then I just kind of did that for a while.
That time, that period though is I'm thinking we travel all the time, and I know when we not backpack, we have to carry all the art and stuff in a van, but there's that same kind of travel. And after several months if you're away from that grounding, that it does get very, very, very exhausting. Even though you're free, trying to figure out where will I sleep tonight, where will we stay tonight, where all of those things is incredibly exhausting, and it does weigh on you over time. And I don't know. I find, even though I feel like humans are nomadic by nature, we still need something that we can get grounded to for a little bit, a little reset button.
Yeah, and I feel like I kind of have those all over now though.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't feel like, I have a home base, which is just a place I keep most of my stuff.
Right.
But I feel like I have homes everywhere now because of the routes I've been taking and the people I've been connecting with, and that feels really nice, when I can go to a place that's really far from home and feel like I could stay there as long as I need to, I can relax, I can put my guard down. I'm very fortunate to that. I feel like I have homes and families all around the world right now, and my goal is to continue, building those relationships and and to provide that for others too. That's another reason why I even have a home base. I remember thinking for a while, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna live out of, I'm gonna buy a car and just live out of the car or just be on the road constantly. But then somebody taught me this really important metaphor, this analogy, which is, as creatives or as community members, we are both ports and ships, right?
Right.
So if you're a port, your job is when a ship comes through, you have a place where they can dock up, where they can rest, where they can eat, sleep. You can show them around, right? Kind of recharge the ships that have been on their journey, right? You are a stable place for them to take a break. And you have something to give them, something to offer them, right? But then when you turn into a ship, you are then constantly on this journey. You're out in the sea. You're always moving. So you need ports. You need places that you can dock up and rest and take breaks and connect with people. And both things have a lot to offer. When I'm home, and I can host, one of my friends who's on tour, like I feel so fulfilled to have their energy coming through, and I'm like, I have a bed for them to stay in, I can feed them or whatever. And like, it's a fulfilling thing on both ends. And I think they're both super important for me, to kind of like build and to keep, sustainable.
Yeah.
This is Finn, my dog. He's going to come up
Hey,
here.
Finn.
I was going to ask, who is this?
How did you end up finding yourself into the soft shoes of a rapper? Like, were you rapping while you were doing that, or?
Well, that's what he said. He was like freestyling on
Yeah.
Cajon.
Right.
Cajon.
Yeah,
Cajon, on the cojones.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've always been like doing improv, spoken word poetry.
Were you always writing
rapping.
poetry even like before that though? Was poetry you're kind of the way into it?
Yeah. I started writing as a teenager.
Right.
It was really, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this quick little Sophie's choice.
Yeah, let's go.
Marceline or Marshall Lee?
Oh, easily Marceline.
Oh, wow, that's funny. Yeah, because my daughter picked Marshall Lee. I don't know why.
Well, she loves the guy.
This is Marshall Lee.
I know, the actor guy.
Oh, that's right. Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
maybe that's because doesn't he do the voice for Marshall Lee?
Yeah. For the Fiona and Cake, where the genders are reversed. Yes.
She said it's the gender bender version.
Yeah, the gender bender
Yes.
version is Marshall Lee. That's what she said.
Yep. I mean, and the only reason, like, I have obviously a much more deep connection to Marceline because of the amount of time we spend with Marceline is like,
Right.
significantly more because there's more character development.
Our kids are big Adventure Time fans.
Yeah, I was stoked
Yeah.
when you mentioned that. And
I just got my Magic Man. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, my kids were pretty excited that they came upstairs. It was right after I texted you and I asked you what you were interested in or what you would want drawn, and you mentioned that. And I was upstairs watching Adventure Time, and my kids were like, "What are you doing? Are you watching Adventure Time?"
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, they were very surprised by it.
I'm really excited. So I'm such a nerd. I've got LSP and Gunther here.
Oh, nice.
Are these Adventure Time?
Yeah. Gunther
okay.
is the penguin, and LSP is Lumpy Space Princess.
Awesome.
And then I got Magic Man. I've got a little Jake tat over here.
That's the
Oh
dog.
yeah,
dog
that's
thing?
Yep.
And then I've actually got a Marceline on my ankle.
No Ice King?
I love Ice King.
Maybe
soon.
a future one.
Yeah. There's a lot I gotta get on me. I don't know if
Are you gonna do them all?
Well, I'm not doing them all, but I'm doing them kind of based on certain things in my life. So I got the Jake tattoo with my brother. I have an 18-year-old brother named Evan, and he and I kind of grew like as he was like a child, like young, like 10. I exposed him to Adventure Time, and we would watch it while we were growing up. And so he got Finn and I got Jake.
Oh, that's
doing
cool.
like the iconic, fist bump.
Right.
And so like when you put our arms together, our tattoos
cool.
are fist bumping. Yeah. So that one was really sentimental to me because of him and our connection as brothers and like friends.
What's
the
the age
Jake
difference?
Yeah, I'm 30 and he's 18. So
Okay.
it's 11 years. Yeah.
Wow. And have you guys always been that close?
We've always been the same amount of age apart. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm 3 years from my brother, and we're not close at all. We're just so different from each other.
Yeah.
We're
I've heard a theory that like the farther away you are in age, actually the better off you are as friends, most likely, because I grew up as an only child up until I was like 11.
Yeah, so it was exciting.
You know what I
to
mean?
have- yeah.
So it's like by the time my brother was like born, I had already kind of grown into this like new role where I wasn't like fighting for any
didn't
sort
feel
of
challenged.
attention.
Right.
No, I didn't feel any jealousy. I felt almost like a nurturing role. Like,
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
cool.
say you're probably also a caregiver.
absolutely.
that's cool.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, and then like our relationship has just been, yeah, I think it's getting better. I hope so. But, you know, we hang out and, you know, he's into music and, you know, I brought him to his first shows and now he's like doing shows, you know, so it's like, it's really cool. And like all my friends like love him, you know, and he's like a part of our community now. So
Yeah, that's fantastic.
and he's been since he was a child, like since he was like 11 years old. I've started bringing him to gigs and, you know, showing him like, you know, Chesky and, you know, he grew up like he was probably, you know, 12 when he was like listening, you know, to Chesky records.
It's awesome. And it's obviously had a major impact on him if he's now performing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So anyways, that's the story of the Jake tattoo, but then the Magic Man tattoo came to me as a sort of symbol of addiction and a symbol of recovery. Because I don't know how far you probably haven't finished Adventure Time, but
No, not yet.
so I got a couple spoilers I'm gonna
That's okay.
go into right now. But so Magic Man, you know, you kind of meet him as this sort of terror, this sort of like villainous like jerk. Like you just don't like him right away. Right away, he's just messing things up and finding joy out of other people being in pain. But kind of like chaotically, manically, like you see him joyfully like ruining people's day. But then later on, you kind of find out why he's on Ooo, because he's a Martian. He's not from Earth or Ooo, which is their planet. He's actually from Mars. He's a Martian. And you don't understand why until you realize his brother, who is like kind of the ruler of the galaxy, they call him Glob. They're brothers. So the lead, you know, he's like the ruler of the galaxy. He's super like kind of strict and orderly, and like things have to be done a certain way, and he has like an immense amount of responsibility. And then Magic Man is this sort of fool, this mischievous jokester who's just like messing things up and having fun with it. Very careless, you know, doesn't see him having any sort of consequences for his actions. And he's on Earth. He's stuck on Earth. He can't go back to Mars. The only way he can go back to Mars is if he uses this little machine that his brother put in his house. And this machine is only activated when you think about someone you love. But get this. The reason Magic Man could never get back home is because he's unable to feel love.
Yeah.
He's unable to feel empathy. He had gone completely mad trying to get more and more powers to save the love of his life. The love of his life got swallowed by the darkness into this infinite void. And he tried to save her by like somehow like getting more magic, and he went nuts. And now so it's like his whole process of like using love, like trying to save the love of his life, brought him to a place of madness where he's unable to feel love. He can't feel empathy anymore.
Right.
So it's so sad. You're like,
It is
wow,
sad,
this
'cause-
broken person. you hate him at first, and then you realize, wow, he's got so much trauma, so much shit has gone wrong in his life, and he's unable to like process it. Anyways, down the road, this other character creates a machine and puts him inside of it and abstracts all of his magic out of his being. Like they just take all the magic out of him and they put it in this hat, which is the Magic Man hat. So they take all the magic out of his being and put it in the hat so that she can wear it and kind of take all of his powers. So when that happens, he starts to feel regret, and he starts to feel empathy, and he starts to feel sorry for all of the wrong things he's done, right? Because once the madness and the magic was taken out of him, he could then feel empathy again and love. But attached to that is a lot of like sorrow, and like he burned a lot of bridges. So he kind of goes on this path of redemption as normal man. He's no longer magic man. Now he's just normal man. He's just a normie. And he apologizes to his brother, and he's trying to make things right. And then, down the road, his brother ends up sacrificing his life to save the universe. So then normal man is put in charge of Mars. So he goes from wildly powerful and magical and super irresponsible to now has no powers at all and has all the responsibility in the world.
No shit.
And it's just such a like beautiful like transition of seeing this character go into recovery and kind of change and shape and change, like do a full 180 sort of, and just becomes like a more sensitive creature.
And it through a cartoon. Like it's pretty awesome. Like
How is your recovery going?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're all in recovery, right? That's my new my new quote.
Something.
Everybody's in recovery from something.
Something, yeah.
I have been in like active recovery for over a decade now.
Oh, great.
And I've been like getting more and more into connecting with folks who are like going through treatment or in recovery programs, and doing more art-based, poetry-based things for those communities. In the past few years, I was leading like a creative writing workshop twice a week for a recovery center in Maine, and it was super fulfilling and very fun.
Sure.
I have like a really soft spot for for drug addicts. Like I come from that family, friends, and myself growing up was like it's always been like a place that I can relate to. And I love it when I can just be myself, and it helps somebody else find themselves. I don't really have to try very hard. It's like pretty easy for me to like relate to people who are going through a really shitty, hard, difficult time in their life.
Which many people are.
Yeah.
I feel. Do you feel like it seems, and maybe it's just because I didn't have a connection with the outside world prior to social media and connecting online, but it seems like everybody they have having a harder time in this period of social online connection versus face-to-face connection. Not necessarily drugs, but just in general.
Yeah, people just like not just being
struggling to connect on a real level with others.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people still aren't fully. I don't know if anybody is fully recovered from isolation either. From the lockdown and people taking COVID very differently. Some people not caring at all, and then other people still haven't left their house in 2 years. Right.
And both of them are.
There's an extreme on both ends of of what that can do to your psychology, like your brain and your relationships, what that can do to the way you interact with crowds of new people or people that you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a really big question. Like,
I don't even know what the question was. But
you just got lost in your own.
did.
Yeah, well, I guess the thing that I always come back to is like I do concerts, like shows, because I think it's so important for people to be in the same space together.
Yeah. It is.
It's a congregation. It's like what they're trying to do with church, but they fail.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. It's like what they're trying to do with social media, but it fails. It's like getting physical people in the same place to interact with each other and to experience art together.
Yeah.
I think it's healing. I think it's a part of the process. It's not the only thing you need, but it's definitely a need.
Right. And even though that we're like, I personally am not very social.
Yeah.
Even at the beginning of this season, I was like, I need to get out and be near people. I need to go to events and shows and things, because that has just, it was void. It was taken away. And so it is important. Our species, I think all primates are social beings.
Yeah.
Even if we don't feel like we are. Like me, I don't feel like I am.
It's always a surprise to me when you want to do something social.
I know, it surprises me.
I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And I used to think I wasn't social at all, but now it turns out I'm very much need to be around people.
I just wanted to comment. I had heard of art therapy and visual arts, and so it you're kind of describing the same thing, but with words. And I'd never heard of art therapy with writing before, because it sounds like kind of what you're doing. It might not have that title, but
I really try not to coin anything I do as therapy, because I don't want to take away from professional therapists who are like
therapeutic, maybe.
Yeah, I use the word therapeutic, but mostly for myself. I never want to say like what I'm doing is therapeutic for you, because it's like I don't know you, or I don't know what you need. I don't know what, you know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of an unspoken thing, I guess, is like I do creative writing workshops, or I do poetry and music performances, and to me they're an experience of some sort of catharsis, some sort of therapeutic expression for me, and if that can transcend just me and affect other people, then that's amazing, and I love that, and I'm really happy that happens. But I can't say that that's going to happen, or
Sure, of course.
you know, or that's like the goal, because the goal is really, you know, beyond that. It's to kind of showcase like the sort of stories I'm telling and the sort of art that I'm making is like, it's not just about therapy, it's also about other things.
Well, I wanted to ask this after you had mentioned being cathartic. I was going to ask which do you think is more cathartic or healing when it comes to your own personal grief? The part where you're writing it down, going through your thoughts and writing it down, or the part when you're performing it and sharing it with others?
Well, I think there's so much movement involved, like physical movement, you know, like in performing. It's like I'm physically like pushing it out of my body and out of my mind and out of my like muscles. So I think like that part of expression is super important for me, and the connection I get with other people is really important to me. I don't know though. I don't think I don't do just one or the other. I do them both.
Right.
They are very, like, I was actually talking about this the other day, is that I don't really have a lot of writing that I wrote just to be read.
Right.
A lot of my writing was written to be heard and to be felt. Even, and it's hard for me to even think about writing without thinking about it coming out of me, or
something happened.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make those transitions, because a lot of people like want me to write a poetry book, and I've been like trying to like.
Is that on the horizon?
It's kind of on the horizon. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It would be really cool. I have a lot of stuff. I just haven't organized it all yet, but. This looks so cool too.
Thanks.
I love Marceline. So Marceline is probably one of the most the characters I relate to the most.
You have a connection with, for sure.
Deep connection, right? So Marceline looks like a teenager, or she's like 20, but she's actually 1,000 years old. Right?
Right.
That's the first thing. She's like 1,000 years old, but she's stuck in this like angsty young adult life. And she writes sad, emo, punk music about her trauma and about her daddy issues, her issues with her dad. And she gets power from her angst and from her trauma, and like the sort of like catharsis it is to like write songs about the things that don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets power from that, and she literally slays monsters with her angst. And she is vulnerable, and she's very sensitive and like shy in a lot of ways. And up until the newest version of Adventure Time, which was like the Distant Lands, which is like this 4-part series, and they're each an hour long, and one of them is on Marceline and Princess Bubblegum. Up until then, Marceline had never written a love song. So she'd been writing songs forever, but they've always been about grief or trauma or anger or sadness. She's never really written a love song, like a gooey, soft, sweet thing. But then after her and everybody save the world, her and Princess Bubblegum get together and they become like a couple. So then, everything's going well, and so she's not really writing any songs because she's happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't been happy really in like 1,000 years. So she's like writing. So she's not writing much because she's happy. But she was working on this one new thing, but she wouldn't share it with anyone. She wouldn't share it with Princess Bubblegum or perform it. She was just like working on it, and it wasn't ready yet. But then this big thing happens, and so what happens is they go to the Glass Kingdom. And where they're at the Glass Kingdom, there's this big monster that is like getting out of the cave that she like locked it in years ago. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna slay this monster, put him back in the cave, but her song doesn't work. And so she says, oh no, I have to go write a new song. But the only way I can do that is if I go back to the place where I was hurt the most.
Yeah.
And so then she travels all across this like desert. And then she finds this little barn. She goes in there and you can kind of see her memories. That's where she was when she was a little kid. She was like 6 years old. And that's where her mom kind of abandoned her. Her mom was really sick. Like she was dying sick. And this is at the apocalypse, so there's like monsters going everywhere. It was just at the end of the world. And her mom says to go, hey, you need to go to this barn and I'll meet you there. And then she never comes.
Oh.
So at 6 years old, Marceline was abandoned there. And she goes back to this place now, 1,000 years later. And she sees this little beeping red flashing light. And she's like, oh, I remember that thing. I used to hate that thing. And then she like walks over to it because now she's taller. So before it was like up on this high shelf and she couldn't see it. So then she walks up and she looks at it and she realizes it's a tape machine. And she presses play. And then on it, she hears her mom say, hey, Marceline, I know you're probably very scared right now, but you're going to be okay. I'm really sorry I couldn't be with you. You're going to do great things in the world, And then she starts like crying. She breaks down and she's like, oh, crap, I can't write a song. Now I'm just too sad. So then she goes back to the cave, and then her and Princess Bubblegum are trying to slay this monster. And it's this big like salamander monster that's like breathing lava, and it's like just like moving around. It's really frustrated and mad, trying to get out of this cave. And then the ceiling starts to cave in, like the rocks start to crumble and fall. And Marceline says to Princess Bubblegum, she's like, well, it looks like we're gonna die, so I might as well share the song that I wrote for you. And she picks up a little ukulele and she sings this song.
Yeah.
And I know we'll never grow old together, 'cause you'll never grow old to me. You're the pink in my cheeks, and I'm scared that it means I'm a little bit soft. But don't beat yourself up, Bonnie. It wasn't just the sun I was hiding from. We were messed up kids, we taught ourselves how to live, and I'm still scared that I'm not good enough. I've always felt like a monster, long before I was bit. Always seen as a monster. Let's just say I'm used to it. And I grew tough, 'cause love, it always hurt me back. But loving you's a good problem to have. I'm used to that, but I could get used to this. Said I'm used to that, but I could get used to this. And I know we'll never grow old together, 'cause you'll never grow old to me. You're the pink in my cheeks, and I love that it means I'm a little bit soft. You're the pink in my cheeks, and I love that it means I'm a little bit soft. Yeah, and then thank you. So as she's singing this song to Princess Bubblegum's like tearing up because it's so sweet. The monster, you can start to see inside of the monster's head, like its thoughts. And the monster's thinking about when it was just like a little bit of a tadpole, and it was like swimming in the school of tadpoles together with the big tadpole mama, and then it just gets cut off from its group, and it gets like trapped in between these two rocks, and it's underwater, but it's stuck, and then it's there's like this like fire stuff, like this like hot coals that are burning around it, and it gets all like squeezed up, and then it slowly starts to harden, and is just afraid, and then eventually it climbs out onto Earth, and it's just alone, and all these things are happening to it, all these bad things are happening to it, and it's just, hurting. And so it can see that happening to the monster, and then the monster starts to soften up, and its hard shell shatters, and then inside it's this soft, beautiful flying like butterfly thing, and it just like flies out of the cave all healed and transformed.
Yeah.
And so like the whole metaphor is that Marceline had been slaying monsters with her trauma and with her angst and with her pain for so long, until this one monster that didn't work. So then she used love, and then love didn't kill the monster, it transformed it.
Yeah.
It transformed it to a new thing. And that is probably the most profound thing you can teach in life, is that love and care and softness and gentleness is stronger than pain, because it won't hurt anything, it'll heal it, and then the healing will prevent it from happening again. So it's sort of like restorative justice in a lot of ways, like that process of, instead of hurting this thing that is causing pain, it offered it something to heal and to transform it, to change it.
Right. Well, the monster's anger had come from its own traumas and issues.
Monsters, yeah, all monsters are born victims, right? Like,
yeah.
And so, so cool. Marceline represents a lot to me. She represents like 1,000-year-old teenager who's got so much trauma and so many like parental like issues and like unprocessed baggage, and but is also so sweet and soft and compassionate and loving, and she's a punk rocker. She's always like on the side of the underdog,
Mm-hmm.
She's always making like noisy emo music, and she sticks up for the Ice King.
Well, and how great do we we got that? That's the first a performance we've had on our show, which is great.
Oh, sweet.
I do want to ask you a couple of more little Sophie's Choice because they're fun to do. This one I wrote down. I only have a couple, and then I have something I wanted to tell you about my run this morning. So here's this one is Bert and Ernie or Bernie Sanders.
Wow, that's good. Well, I guess in a perfect world, you can have all three.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up on Sesame Street.
Yeah.
I think Sesame Street has been like a pretty, I guess, important thing in my life. You know, puppetry, community, friendship, kind of. Yeah, there's a lot of art in Sesame Street is ridiculously creative.
Yeah, I loved it.
And musical and weird, very weird, and like so yeah, I think Sesame, I'd probably go with Bert and Ernie just because it's made a longer impact on my life as far as like the totality of my life. But Bernie Sanders definitely is a legend, and I think he fits up there in the list of people who have like made a huge difference in our lives.
It's nice to hear a person talk about other people and you feel like they mean it. It's nice that it's nice to hear that, especially from a politician. This one's really difficult. There's really no way you could probably pick, but Jesse Ramos or Chesky Ramos?
I don't like either of them.
There you go. That's the best.
I'm just kidding.
That's the best way to handle that.
That's so funny. No, they're great. I like both of those guys a lot. Yeah. I actually met Jesse at a Chesky show. So
yeah, he said. I think that was he was telling us that he saw you not playing your cojones, but he saw you playing the cajon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to tell you, so on my run this morning, I was listening to the Mourning Travels album this morning. I know a different morning, but after my first mile, I usually walk for 5 minutes. And right at that time when I was walking, and behind where I go for a run on Wednesdays, it's like this nature preserve. Is it a nature preserve, Adrienne? Is that what you'd call it? Yeah, it's really beautiful back there. And right as I stopped to do my walking part in between my next mile, the track 7:15 a.m. and I Need to Meditate came on. And I don't know, I was like particularly zoned out today for some reason. Yeah. I was staring up into the trees and I was just like walking, and it was like this. I don't care for this word all that much, but for this particular moment, I'll use it. But like the synergy was like super palpable. It was just one of those moments that happened, created by sounds that you orchestrated. So thanks for that. It was like this amazing, like, and that song, I mean, that track is like, like 20 seconds or something. It's really short, isn't it? Like that 7:15 a.m. and I Need to Meditate.
I don't know. It's like a minute or something.
Yeah, it's like, and it's just this sound.
It's short, but
I don't know. It was beautiful. It was really weird. Of course, some guy came around the corner and like I'm staring up in the sky and it just kind of broke the mood. But that particular moment right there was awesome. I just had to share that with you. That was just this morning.
Oh yeah, thanks. I made that just. I started doing a morning meditation practice where it wasn't actually meditation. It was sitting in front of my keyboard and recording whatever came to me. So that was just like one of the, 30 times I did that, I would just record for like a half an hour loops, and then I would just ignore it, and then I would do the same thing the next morning. And then I just went back and listened to all of them before I put this record out, and that was the one I liked.
Yeah, well, it worked. It certainly worked. There is this other new segment that we put on our we do on our show now, and it's called it's a question from Mr. Dibbs.
Mr. Tibbs on the turntable.
Listen to more of this.
So there's 3 categories to this question, or to a question. You get to pick which category you want it to be in. So the 3 that you can choose from is biology, fashion, or writing utensils.
Is this like Jeopardy where I have to like get an answer correct?
Nope.
All right, fashion.
Okay. All right, here's the question from Mr. Dibbs.
Well. Dog fight. Anyway, Myles, the beatbox pony. That's a great name, though. Myles. Myles. Mr. Young Lungs excites snakes. Myles. Myles. Many yodelers lose everything suddenly. It's an epidemic. It really is. Let's get on to the questions. Why would I have a dolphin spine? Anyway, which question did he pick?
Oh, he went with fashion.
All right, then. Let's go with number 27.
Whoa.
Question 27, Myles.
Okay.
What is your all-time favorite nail polish? The go-to, the gold standard, durable, affordable, can't go wrong nail polish. You tell me yours, and then I will tell you mine. Go.
Wow. That's a really good question. I had it just around here the other day. I guess I'm just going to go with Essie.
Good answer. Excuse me. Good answer.
Essie's pretty good. Yeah.
So he went with Essie. What's yours?
Mine? I'm going to go with Black Sharpie with the clear coat in the 7th grade girls' locker room after gym class, but before lunch, because you had to get them together before you went to lunch. Black Sharpie. It's a Midwest standard. Everybody knows that here, and now you do too, Myles. Woo!
Well, that's really fun.
I have seen he has the black. His are usually black. His fingernails.
Sounds like the Sharpie.
I'm rocking some gel that my friend Kay in New York did.
Oh, what does it say?
No,
this one says FKFR.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, if you can figure out what that means.
I have no idea. She's right.
Adrienne, do you know?
I don't know.
FKFR?
No, I have no idea.
If it was like a vanity plate, you just kind of like guess.
Oh.
Fuck. I go. Speaking of vanity plates, the Midwest is full of vanity plates, man. People in the Midwest love vanity plates.
Yeah, people in Maine love them too.
I'm trying to think. But all I get is fuck fur.
Oh, fur. You don't like fur. Just kidding.
You guys are close.
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
I don't either.
Clueless.
It's okay.
We'll just leave it. Yeah, for people to. Yeah, it's a mystery for people to figure out.
Okay.
Hey, when are you at your most creative?
Franklin Roosevelt.
Whoa.
Nailed
Franklin
it.
Roosevelt.
Did he do cryogenics or someone? Didn't someone have their head frozen?
Oh, like in Futurama?
No, but in real life, I think someone had their head frozen. But maybe I don't know. Who knows? That could be just some bullshit thing I thought of. But when do you find you're at your most creative, or is it always?
When I'm with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a collaborator in spirit. My heart is like bouncing off of others, like I love singing with people. I love creating music with others. I love performing with others. So I think I'm the most creative when I'm in like a room with like 1 to 3 other people who want to make stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't ever realize it, but I heard it. I think it's on the Mourning Travels album. Well, anyway, it's the cover of Idea's Smile. What album?
That's on Healing Hurts. Yeah.
God damn, that is a freaking beautiful cover. Really great job.
Sign, read, support the troops, bring them home, no more innocent victims. When a homeless veteran asks for spare change, you're too busy protesting to even listen. And I'm no different, live with conflict and contradiction. It can be so beautiful when I don't reject what lies within. It's beautiful the way agony connects us to the living. I think of the world when I hurt, keep on existing in and out. I can only build if I tear the walls down. Even if it breaks me, I won't let it make me frown. I'm falling, but no matter how hard I hit the ground.
That made me wonder, like, do you have a favorite rapper? Or, because different from a musician, like, is there someone who puts words together that is your favorite? But more of in the rapping, like, that puts together a good... that has a great a way of telling you their story.
Who's your go-to rapper? Is that or different?
Okay.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't have a singular influence. But right now, I've been listening to Rap Ferreira a lot.
Me too.
Yeah. I've been listening to SB the Moore a lot. Been listening to Chris Conde. You know Chris Conde? They are like one of my favorites.
Right.
I think they're amazing. It's Sarah Violet. Sarah Violet's incredible. She's one of my favorite rappers. Yeah, there's so many, and I think just like words in general though. There's this poet who I'm friends with, Maya Williams, and they are like kind of like, I feel very twin flame when it comes to writing with them. Like, even though they don't call themselves a rapper, they write a lot about grief and death and suicide and like really heavy things. But also they are like playful, and they're also funny, and like they bring like joy to their performances, even though they have such depth and heavy subjects. And so I feel like I draw a lot of inspiration from Maya Williams when it comes to like listening to people who are doing something that's difficult to do, and they do it in a very light-hearted way.
You've recorded music with them before, right? Or you have?
I haven't recorded music, but I've done shows with them. Like we've done a bunch. Yeah, we've done shows together, and and they're like one of my close friends. But
that's awesome. It's good.
Yeah.
Good other creatives around. Do you only hang with creatives, or are you okay willing to hang with someone who's not necessarily so creative?
No, I don't only hang with creatives. I think I prioritize doing things with people, though.
Right.
So like, but there are people who I swim with, who I only go swimming with. Because that's like a thing that we like to do. Or there are people who I like will meet for breakfast or something,
Right.
So yeah, I hang out with lots of people, but I'd say a majority of my friends and people that I keep in my life are making art and are being creative. And part of that is me living on the road half of the year. I'm touring, so I'm like, I'm either with people who are also touring, or I'm with people who are, supporting art, and yeah, I have a pretty creative life, I'd say, in general.
Can I ask, is that your grandma back there behind you?
Oh, this beautiful lady?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not my grandma, but it was my grandmother's painting.
Oh, cool.
But it's not of her.
It's not of her. No, it was just in her. It was just in my grandparents' house my entire life. So when they both died, and me and my uncles were like cleaning out the house, I just wanted to have it because because it just reminded me of them.
It feels good. One of Adrienne's grandma's
But my
paintings.
grandma had a similar one like this, but it was of her. I guess I didn't know that was a painting, but it was a photograph, but that was that kind of muted kind of tone
with the glow behind them.
Yeah.
Well, then one of the things that I brought back because I got rid of it for a couple episodes are these trivia questions, and my wife really likes trivia, and I just didn't realize that. So she's like, "Hey, what happened to the trivia questions?" So
do you like trivia?
Yeah, are you a trivia fan at all?
I mean, I can try.
Yeah, let's give you a try. I got a trivia question for you, and we'll see. Do you want to give us a little bit of a little under what do you call it? Under music to it? Yeah, to the to the Jeopardy question. No. Here you might know this. I don't know. Which singer changed his name to Yusuf Islam in 1977?
I have no idea.
Very, very, very famous person whose name is a animal. Adrienne's trying to guess.
I am. Well, a lot of people were going like Muhammad Ali, and a lot of people were.
Yeah, this one's kind of a. I see where your thinking is on that, but it's not like that.
Last name Islam is
that's
like
it's
that?
throwing you.
Oh,
no,
okay.
that's not it. This person's first name is an animal, and their is surname the last name. Yeah, their last name is a first name. And then let me know when you give up. I'll give you the answer.
I don't know. Lion David.
That's a good guess, Lion David. You're pretty close. You're in the same. With
Tiger
the lion,
Woods.
you're in the same.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
What'd you say?
Forest. Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. Well.
Cat Stevens.
There you
Powers.
go. No, not Cat Power. That would be cool though. No, it was Cat Stevens. Yep.
Cat
There's your
Stevens.
answer.
Wow.
Yeah, you got it. Good job.
I like Cat Stevens better than Yusuf Islam, but who?
Wait, so his name was?
In 1977, he changed his name to Yusuf Islam, but I'm sure it's not still that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was awesome hanging with you this afternoon. We normally do night ones, so it's nice to like hang and have coffee and chat with good people. I really enjoyed our chat with you. It's awesome, and I'm serious about the first time having someone perform during the show. That it helps that you can play an instrument.
Yeah,
that makes a big difference. And plus, the sound of a uke is awesome. Like it's just got a really good feeling to it. Yeah, our son plays ukulele. Well, they both play instruments. My son's taking ukulele in his high school class.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
It's kind of a cheater.
It's a cheater class.
Because he's a musician.
Yeah,
so he's like, okay, I'll just take ukulele and.
Well, we end every episode with a philosophical question. So before I get into letting you tell us what's in for the future and all that, let's hit you with this philosophical question. Which do you suppose is the most important or enjoyable part of life, the caterpillar or the butterfly?
Whichever one I am in the moment. Whichever point of the process I am in, that is the most enjoyable part, because it's the only part you get to experience. The only place you can find joy is here.
Present.
You can't find joy later. You can't find it before. You can only find it here. So whatever stage of that metamorphic process you're in has to be the moment where joy is possible. It's not possible anywhere else.
Good answer.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good, well thought out, and I appreciate you for giving it a good think and having a good Well, I don't know. I was going to try to wrap that up with some beautiful words, but I just didn't have any. I should have left it with you. Well, it was been great talking with you. What's in the future? What's on the horizon? Where's the best place for people to know what's coming from you, and those sort of things?
In the future, I will be barefoot, screaming songs in a sea of excited people. In the future, I will be visiting lots of new places and revisiting old ones. In the future, I will be bobbling about whimsically. In the future, I will get a haircut. And in the future, I will improve my salsa dancing.
Are you really going to be?
Well, I can only get better. I can't get worse.
Well, now I forgot that there was something I wanted to ask you because I was watching your European tour as you were posting on social media. I was kind of watching along with that.
Yeah,
that looked like you were having a really good time. That seemed like it was a lot of fun. Was there a favorite place that you or while you were over there?
Yeah, I loved. I love the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a huge love spot for me. I've been there 3 different times now, and every time I go, I just feel more and more like at home there. And we stayed in the Netherlands for about a week because we had a bunch of shows like within the area, so we were kind of central in one place and did shows and drove back and did shows and drove back. So that was really, that's where we like grew. That's like where I kind of like grew the most familiarity. Like I felt like, I recognize people and places, and I recognize these streets, and I like know my way around. And
How much falafel did you eat?
Oh, so much falafel. Literally like multiple times a day we had falafel. I was also touring with Chrissy, who's like my European tour booker, and she's vegan. So I just was like vegan the whole trip, and we just ate falafel like every day. Just sweet.
Well, it looked like you guys were having a good time. I put a smile on my face watching this posting and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, I want to pretty much do that more often, like at least every year. Go back to Europe. I felt really appreciated there too, and had like fans come out to every show that I'd never met before, which was really sweet to like meet people who had been like listening to me for like the last couple of years
in whole other parts of the world. That's always very exciting.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Well, what do you most prefer, the way for people to know what you're up to, or like what platforms do you like to promote what you're up to through?
Yeah, well, my website is just MylesBullen.com. That's a pretty good one, and that's got all the links to all the other places. But MylesBullen.com. I'm starting a mailing list, which is cool. I've been doing like little poet newsletters that just like have like secret unreleased songs in them, like embedded in them, and like any new stuff I make, like merchandise or videos or tour dates or whatever. So yeah, my website, or send me a message and I'll put you on the newsletter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it was awesome hanging with you, and I look forward to. I hope that it will happen. I look forward to possibly a book of your words. I think that would be pretty fantastic.
We should collab.
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm telling you, if you want some imagery for it, I would be happy to do something where I can write to your word or draw to your words, or vice versa. I don't know, whatever you let me know. We'll stay in touch. One of my most favorite things about the show is staying in touch with our guests that we have on. So,
yeah, where are you based out of again?
We're in The gallery is in Missouri, but we also have a home in Salt Lake City, Utah. So,
Salt Lake City, right?
Yeah.
From Salt Lake, residing in Missouri.
Yep. Residing,
cool.
Residing where the van is parked. So we'll see you out there on the road at some point, and we'll be able to engage in person, which I look forward to with all our guests. So.
We'll share some falafel.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. We're both vegan, so not really, but I'm not. But
and you can meet my boy Finn.
Yeah, Finn, it was nice meeting you. Get some rest.
Don't eat the couch.
Or the drug. Is that
or the cojone?
The All right, it was really awesome chatting with you. Thanks for joining us on the show. Thanks for taking out time to hang with us. It was nice.
Yeah.
Well, have a great rest of your day today.
Okay.
Bye, Myles. Thank you.
Blacked out, overdose, detox, recovery, sadness, silliness, skateboard, hovering. Sell art on sidewalks, all odds to try hard, to try not to hold hate.
That was fun, huh?
Yeah. Myles is an enjoyable person.
It was an enjoyable chat, and really a big fan of Adventure Time.
Yeah.
But it's cool to hear that, you and I both tend to not watch cartoons.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to hear the in-depth thought of that. Do you think our kids are catching any of those?
All of it. I know that's why they
the
like
metaphors
all that.
And yeah, that's really well written. I know I watched episode or season 6. I binged season 6 after Myles told me about it, and it was it's very well written. But all these shows are very well written.
After being forced to watch cartoons for the last 16 years,
you don't want to watch anymore.
From Curious George on up, I was just done.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to wrap with, or shall we? Anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to go back. I'd like to go back to Amsterdam sometime soon, or not just Amsterdam, the Netherlands sometime soon. That'd be cool.
Okay, we will be. All you got to do is say so, and we'll make it happen. So it looks like we're going to Samoa in November.
Are we?
Oh, not November.
Maybe possibly
February.
Year.
And then when do you want to book the Amsterdam trip?
Maybe the next year.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get us to go to Tokyo in June of 2023. I'll work on that.
Kind of a huge month for us.
I know, but
Why June?
Because that's when that Tokyo Art Fair is. But we'll see. All right. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Peace.
DOD45.
Thank you for joining in on yet another episode of DOD45. Please hit the subscribe or follow button so that you never miss an episode. You can even go one step further by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts to help other interesting people like yourself find our podcast. You can find me at Art by Tai on all the socials or at artbytai.com. If you'd like to follow this podcast on social media, we are at DOD45W on Instagram, or you can go over to our website, DOD45.com, where you can shoot us an email, join our mailing list, and watch all of our past episodes. Thanks for joining us. Peace.